because that very rarely happens. The landlord gives you your money before you even vacate. Was the agreement that if you got the money back, you would vacate since the property was no longer, I guess, the condition that you needed it to be in?
I have a newborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the house never had a refrigerator in it. They never came with a refrigerator, no nothing.
First things first, Ms. Simmons, you have a written or oral lease with Mr. May.
Written.
Okay. And I understand it's with Dwayne Reed, but you're the agent, but it's a written lease, correct?
Correct.
All right. And is this month to month now, or is it still within its terms?
It's still within the terms.
Okay. And when are the terms set to expire?
Um, November 30th, 2027.
Okay. Oh, no, 2027. Okay. And how much is monthly rent?
The monthly rent is $1,500.
Okay. Is there a late fee?
The late fee is $50.
All right. Last time the tenant paid rent from any source?
The tenant has only paid the security deposit. He's never made a rent payment.
Okay. Only made a security deposit. I see here that this was filed in February, and at the time you indicated that he owed $8,000 in past due rent and at $1,500 a month. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so, when was the first time he paid? What month?
The first time he paid was the $3,500 in July. The 19th is when he gave that initial deposit.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're going to witness a heated landlord-tenant dispute over $8,000 in unpaid rent. From the start, the tension is clear. The landlord lays out the lease terms, security deposit, and missed payments, while the tenant hints at personal struggles. The foundation is set for conflict as we see the clash of formal lease obligations against real-life complications, immediately hooking the audience with stakes and anticipation.
The current lease that we're discussing was signed for November the 1st. And after that initial deposit, we received no other funds from the tenant.
So he signed two different leases?
Yes, he ended up signing two different leases. The initial lease he wasn't able to move in because the house was there were repairs and renovations being done. But once November came around, the tenant was eager to be able to have a place to be. So the agreement was made for the tenant to move in while the repairs and renovations were still going.
Okay, so essentially you're saying he owes for November, December, January, February, and March?
That's correct.
Okay, so 5 months.
Correct. At this point.
Okay. All right. And I don't see anything else. Mr. May, just want to confirm what was been told here. You have a written lease with Dwayne Reed?
So that what she just said was inaccurate. She just came up with that after we just left the mediation.
No, okay. Well, tell me. We'll answer these questions for me then.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first, when did you begin occupying the property?
December 1st.
Of 2025?
Yes, 2025.
Okay. And how much is monthly rent?
It's $1,500.
Okay. And is there a late fee to your knowledge?
In this section, the story deepens as two leases are revealed, repairs delay move in, and the tenant begins to clarify his side. As a third-party observer, you can feel the mounting confusion and subtle blame shifting. The landlord emphasizes contractual obligations, while the tenant counters with logistical challenges. Every exchange escalates tension, keeping viewers engaged as the courtroom navigates conflicting narratives and the first cracks in understanding appear.
I guess he says $50.
Okay.
I never had the opportunity to even pay another rent.
Okay.
And the reason why is because in the middle of December, he told me he was going to refund my money back to me in January. He said he was going to do it in the beginning of January and wound up not being until the middle towards the end of January. And the reason that so originally
he refunded. Wait, just slow down.
Okay.
So he tells you, hey, you move in December, but then he tells you, I'm gonna refund you your money in January. He gives you the money back.
Yes.
Okay, and this is in January. And how much money did he give you back?
$3,500.
30, which is your security deposit and what, first month's rent or something like that?
And he
Oh,
said, so the reason why that happened is because when I moved in December, first I gave my money in July, right? Because I know you're trying to figure out how to make sense out of all of this. I gave my money in July. I was supposed to be moving in the next month, right? When I was supposed to be moving in, the work person I was working on the house wasn't complete. He kept on saying, "Oh, it's gonna be done. Oh, next month is gonna be done." And by that time, I already had moved out of my last place. He was like, "Hey, look, this is what you can do."
Here,
Because
the courtroom drama intensifies. The tenant explains receiving his $3,500 back and the challenges of moving while juggling another residence and a newborn. Observing this externally, you notice the tug of war between contractual responsibility and real-world hardships. Each explanation raises more questions about accountability, creating suspense around why payments were delayed and whether the tenant's story justifies continued occupancy despite the landlord's claims. Interview NOP4.
he was mad because the guy wasn't doing what he said he was gonna do. He said, "Hey, look, just get a storage and you can move in as soon as he's done, right?" So in the beginning, I'm waiting. I had moved in with another person. I was paying them rent, right? And I told him before all of this, I got a son that I was doing a custody battle with, from a mom from an abuse case, right? And I got proof of it, and I got a temporary court order right now on my son from a Wednesday to a Sunday, right? So I got pictures, proof of everything that I'm saying.
hold on. So that's not really as relevant about what's going on though. So
Well,
what I really want to know is though, they're alleging that you have $8,000 worth of no payments.
that's
You're
what I'm saying.
saying you said you had original lease that you were going to move in July, but the place wasn't ready, so you didn't officially move in until December. But then he gives you back your money, gives you back the $3,500,
Yeah, but
and then why'd you stay after he gave you back the money?
so okay, so this what happened when I moved in. Um, so okay, maybe about a month before then, he told me, 'cause I kept on complaining about what's going on. He told me I can put my stuff out of storage. I was telling him I was paying all this storage. He said you can take your stuff out of storage, just put it in the house until he's complete, right? So I took my stuff, took it out of storage, put it into the house. Um, when I moved in, um, the first day I got there, I had to clean up because the house wasn't clean. I cleaned up, and the plumbing wasn't all the way complete, right? So all the water flooded the house. The next day, I went to go take a shower, and
Well, Mr. May, hold tight. The
no,
man said, I just want to make sure because we could talk all day
sorry.
because I know there's a lot going on, but that's not what we're going to do. I want to ask you specifically, when did you get your $3,500 back?
He gave it back to me in January because
Do you know what day?
tank went out. I'm not sure the exact date, but I can look it up.
So
The
was the agreement that if you got the money back, you would vacate since the property was no longer, I guess, the condition that you needed it to be in?
Yeah, I told him. I said as soon as I'm able to find another spot, that I'll be able to move out.
Okay. So I take it after you got the money, you still were unable to find another spot.
I was still looking. I paid application fees. So my whole thing was I have to find. I've been trying to find a house, right? But also the the pricing is totally different. You know what I'm saying? From the house that I'm renting out to now me trying to find another house.
So how is it, and I'm just respectful, how is it that that is the responsibility and you are allowed to remain there after they've already given you the money back?
To find another place to live.
Do you think you have unlimited time?
Oh, I don't think I had unlimited time. Not at all. But as soon as I got I just was looking for a new spot. It wasn't and
But
it was totally unexpected.
now it's March 31st. Okay. All right. So after receiving the money back, not vacating, you're still there. Anything else you want the court to know?
Um that I've been having to stay somewhere else and paying rent there, but I've been having to stay there from like because I can't like completely move in and stay there. I've been having to pay $800 a month.
Mr. May, hold on. Forgive me. I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. You have a lease somewhere else right now
Yes.
where
No,
you're
I don't
paying
have a
rent.
lease. I
But
don't
you're
have
saying, or you have some type of agreement where you're paying somebody
Cutting
to
through
live.
excuses and highlighting the tenant's partial occupancy, continued use of the property, and payments elsewhere. As a commentator, you see the balance between empathy and legal accountability, with the judge weighing evidence carefully. The tension peaks as he explains why $8,000 is not justified, yet stresses the tenant should have vacated earlier, providing a masterclass in courtroom clarity and decisive reasoning.
A particular residence,
from a,
but you're
because
essentially keeping stuff at this other residence because you're saying you just don't have enough space in the new place where you are.
no, that's not it. That's not it. So I
That's
have
not it.
give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. I have a newborn, right?
Mhm.
That the house never had a refrigerator in it. They never came with a refrigerator, no nothing. So even then I've been having to pay $800 to stay there from a Wednesday to a Sunday to be able to refrigerate my son's milk to make sure my kid when my kids are there they're able to be straight. So it was never about me trying to stay there. It was about me. I've been having to pay somebody else to be somewhere else, and I've been looking.
But if you had to pay somebody else to be somebody else, be there.
I can't. That's the whole thing. I can't be there. It's not a place I can be. They only
I don't know why you're paying them rent then.
be,
But
I
listen.
have,
I hear what you're saying. But in totality of what the evidence is that you've already gotten money and you were agreeing to vacate, and they returned you your money and you haven't vacated, and then continued to live there partially while also paying rent in another place. I just don't think is appropriate. I do think that you've essentially prevented them from taking possession and doing whatever repairs or whatever they can do by your needing to have possess two properties but only pay for one, and that's not appropriate. I don't think the $8,000, based upon the evidence that has been communicated here and presented, is applicable, because if you weren't able to there and they admit that you ultimately had a second lease and weren't able to take possession until then, I think that's the more appropriate and applicable fact. But you still, man, after January, you really are on the hook by
hold on.
staying there. You should have left.
Give me
So
one.
I'm going to give you 2 months rent that you have to pay for being there, man.
Give me 1 second. My screen is acting crazy.
Okay.
Nah. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, what did you say?
So we're going to have, since you were supposed to vacate after January, after getting the money back.
No, he said I got 30 days.
But you already got the money back.
Listen, he gave my money back in the middle of January.
Right. So I'm not going to charge you for any of all portion of January, just February and March.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. I was supposed to leave out in February, right? But the whole thing was I didn't have enough time. Like it takes more than a month
Okay.
to try to find a place to live.
Got it.
Finally, the verdict lands. The tenant must pay 2 months' rent for February and March, vacating by April 7th, 2026. Observing externally, the resolution satisfies legal fairness while showing the human complications behind lease disputes. The dialogue between judge and parties underscores the consequences of delayed action. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
It ain't like I'm saying the house, you can't flush the toilet and it has no refrigerator. The house is not livable. You see what I'm saying?
I understand, Mr. May.
All right. It's not like I'm doing it. It's not like I didn't want to be there on my terms. You see what I'm saying? It happened due to a problem that the house had. You see what I'm saying? So
Mr. May, I understand. And I think that that's fine. But I think, again, once you guys reach an agreement for you to be returned your money and for you to vacate, because that very rarely happens. The landlord gives you your money before you even vacate. That's not a common attack. They usually are not required to give you their money until you vacate. So you got it in advance and then complained about the condition and then continue to maintain possession. So then you've essentially prevented them from renting it or fixing or doing anything, while also telling us that you've actually moved, but you can't stay there completely. So that's want to just recite what I've heard and the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's going to be 2 months for essentially February and March, and they're rid of possession on April 7th, 2026, 11:59 p.m. That'll be the order.
So what am I supposed to do if I don't have nowhere to go? So that's the whole thing.
That's not, respectfully, Mr. May, that's not on for me to figure out. Okay, but that'll be the order of the court, and you guys will get a copy in your email. You're both free to go.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
So what was that agreement to what was the other agreement for money you said?
That's a $3,000
$3,000
for March and February and March.
February. That's man. And when does that have to be paid?
It's a judgment. That's between you and the plaintiff.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, folks. You guys are free to go. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You're free to go. All right.